Hey, welcome to the Sit and Chat, where we come up with weekly topics to sit and chat about for the week. My name is Sherrick.
My name is Tony.
My name is DeAndre.
And a disclaimer, these are our opinions and life experiences, and also we've been around the block a few times. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at the YouTube channel Sit and Chat. And the topic of today is...
Are women over 40 realistic about what they want in life?
And why you say that?
Again, based off my experience, I am on the dating scene, single, looking around and stuff, and usually the older women are the ones who, I get in contact with. I'm 33, by the way, and I'm very upfront about what I want as far as family, kids, and and they understand that, but then it's like, well, okay, so I'm all for, waiting until marriage to have kids, but it doesn't have to be that. But a lot of these women do want that because of, their experiences from their past lives. But then it's like, one of the questions that I tend to ask is like, well, how are you going to be able to, have kids, of your own?
So this is the thing though. Nobody says I'm going to wait till 40 to have kids. It don't happen like that. And if they do say that they want kids, they're like, but Janet Jackson had her kid at 50. Yeah. So it's not if you're able to. Yeah, you're able to, but do they want to? Especially if they have kids. Like, we have two sets. Well, a set. So we have kids that's in their 20s, and then we have one that's 11. Mm-hmm. Being 40 and having another one, absolutely not. So the women that you're talking to, do they already have kids?
There are some who already have kids, and there are some that don't. There was one, I'm not gonna say names, but there was one.
We wouldn't know no way.
Right. Who was talking about she wanted to be married before having kids, which is understandable. But I'm like, and my question was just like, well, it's possible, but I'm saying, like, how do you know you are going to be able to have kids? Because like one of my fears is being married and then finding out, that we can't have kids.
So what gives you the assumption that she can't have kids because she's at 40?
I don't think it's that they can't have kids, but I understand that, like, I don't know everything about the body of a woman, but I'm saying, but I do understand that, once you hit 35, there is geriatric pregnancy. So I'm like, it's going to be harder, and you can have complications.
You can have complications under 42.
True.
You can have a hard time getting pregnant under 42. Mm-hmm. So it don't matter, like, I'm not going to say it don't matter the age. Yes, there is a risk. But there's a risk through pregnancy either way it goes.
Right.
And especially amongst black women. Yeah. It's hard for us. And I saw on the news the other day, like, 1 out of 5 or 4 women have fertility issues anyway. And that didn't say the age range, but
right, that's
kind of big too.
But also too, like, what I feel like is like they don't even have the mindset of like, okay, it's going to be harder, right?
No, because you don't think about that when you get. Listen, most people who get pregnant don't be like, oh, I'm about to plan to get pregnant. That don't happen that way. You just end up getting pregnant. That's how that usually works.
I mean, usually women know their body, right?
Nobody knows if you're going to get pregnant or not. It happens.
Yeah.
But the only people who are really planning and know their ovulation and all that other stuff. Other than that, we winking it.
My question to you would be, so if you were like close to 40, would you think that you would be able to have a child?
Yes. Would I want one? No.
Right. That's okay.
So they don't, or this particular person didn't have a child.
No.
So of course their answer would be yes. I already had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. Tony wasn't my husband at the time, but I don't think he wanted a kid. And I wasn't too sure about another one.
No, I mean,
What? You hesitating?
I guess for me, you know, they always say you want to make sure the person you having your kid by, cause we move fast. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Real fast.
You jump right in there. But you know, you won't want to know, at least, because sometimes you'll get with a person and they change over time. You know, especially after having a kid. At least, you know, from
I don't think that's from having a kid. That's just probably from just changing over time. People, no one's supposed to stay the same.
But you don't want to be with no crazy person either. Right?
They was crazy when you was sleeping with them.
Who? You wasn't crazy?
We ain't talking about me. We talking about people.
Yeah, shoot. You already know, because we establish everything up front. So that's a good thing.
Everything was up front, but that's what he's saying too. But what is somewhere down the line, like this, back to what I was talking about too the other day, is when everybody realistically possibly want their own child, right? Like their own. But there are so many other kids in the system that needs a home that could be like yours. And although I don't have any step kids, but like whatever you make with that child is your child.
Yeah.
Whether it's blood or not, as long as they carry your last name, like that's your child. Have you thought about that option?
I have, but I can say that, you know, like, at this point in my life, I'm not looking towards that. You know,
Look, at one point in life, you get too old to be talking about kids now.
right? But I kind of, you know, like I'm sure that adopting kids is, you know, is the same as having your own children. But for me, I do feel like there's a difference between having my own child and adopting.
So what if she came with some kids?
That's fine. Now, speaking of that, now because like when it comes to one thing that I've learned in the dating world is there aren't a lot of people who don't have kids. You know, like a lot of people are gonna have kids. So I had to be open and upfront with myself about, okay, I'm gonna have to accept someone that has kids, which I can do. Now, one kid is fine. Two is pushing it, but I think I can do it. No, three, you usually when you meet women who have three, they're like, I'm done.
But let's be realistic, because you might want to see one that end up having like 5 kids, or want 5 kids and they already have 3. You think having 3 kids is pushing it when this just might be your one?
I think yes, but it's coming from I have never experienced that. So I'm coming from, well, I don't know, but I feel like it will be hard for me because, you know,
if she that one, you can't overlook her having 3 kids. But Tony didn't even care that I had 2. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like I honestly don't.
Package plan.
Right. No.
So if I had 3, you'd be like, okay.
No, it was what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, now you had 5 of them, man. But I don't do bad kids though. Did I tell you that up front?
You probably did, but that don't matter whether they bad or not.
Hey man, because you know some kids like baby kids, so you know.
But do you have a when you were, you know, in the dating scene, you know, like, did you have a limit of like, okay, if a woman has this many kids, that's probably a deal breaker?
No, I never thought of that, nothing like that.
Okay.
It's just like if she had kids, she had kids. You know what I mean? So I ain't think too much on how many kids. But I think, like I say, nah, I didn't. I'm gonna just keep it at that.
Yeah. This is kind of going off topic, but I had always wanted to ask you, you know, like, how do you go about being a father figure to another woman's kids? Because, like, I've always tried to picture how I would do it, but I'm like, I don't know. But then it's like, well, I can ask, you know, people like you, my father. Like, how do you go about not being their kid's father, but being that father figure?
I think for me, knowing she had kids, I don't know. Me, it was just like natural to me. Like, I feel like kids like me, but I mean, that's the way I feel. But just coming into it, I just felt like I was already a family man, especially like sisters and independent, strong black mother. It was just like I felt like as the brother, I had to be kind of like the male of the house, but the brother at the same time. So it was just like it was something that was natural to me. Not that I looked at my sister like my kids, but it was just like I was like their protector. So it was just like I kind of like I would say I got an old soul too. So it was one of those things where like I made sure I took care of my sisters and like I just looked out for them, like a brother's supposed to do. So having kids, I knew they weren't my kids, but I just treat them like, the same, like, not like little sisters and brothers, but knowing that they're her kids, but just treat them with respect, and I mean, just like I said.
So what about the age gap? Because I mean, we're 7 years apart. So that means when we got together, Mello probably was 12 turning. No, was he 11 turning 12, and Shariah might be like 7 turning 8 or something like that. And you was only 26 at the time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I ain't think like I say, it was just it's one of those
I don't think it had anything to do with the kids. I think it was the kids' daddy. If it was problems with the daddy, then that probably would have been the deal breaker right there.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me. Like I don't do no drama. I don't do all that extra stuff. Like if he crazy, like I'm gonna step out because I ain't trying to get into it with nobody over nobody kids or nobody that don't want to let go with what they have or what they could have had. So that was all. And like I'm glad that we talked about that in the beginning. But so I think
he was slightly off his rocker.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like I don't know. I guess it was different because like
it never affected the house.
Yeah, it was like out of sight, out of mind for me because he wasn't there. So it was just like I was there. So me being there, it's like okay, I know their dad wasn't there. So it was like I'm gonna have to be that person that they look up to. Maybe not that there, but I'm gonna have to be that person that they look up to. So I gotta set a good example. So that was what was on my heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I kind of felt, I ain't gonna say I felt bad, but my dad wasn't around. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like out of sight, out of mind. So for me, it's just like, how could you care about somebody that wasn't there? You know what I mean? I had my mom and I had my sister, so I was good. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about that. But I know that their dad wasn't there, and I was like, because their dad's not there, then I'm gonna be here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do what my dad didn't do for me. You know what I mean? Not that, I just feel like my dad was a child of his environment. He grew up, we come from Chicago. He grew up in the streets, gangbanging, drugs, and, back and forth to jail. So, what I mean? Like, sometimes if you grow up in that lifestyle and that's what you learn, that's all you know. You know what I mean? Unless you get a person that come around and can show you a different way. So,
right.
But yeah.
Was it weird for you to...
Me or him?
You. Did you think that, so what was your mindset on like another man in general possibly being around your kids?
So we were talking about this the other day. This is a funny thing. I don't know if I told you this. They didn't come around when me and Tony first started talking. It wasn't they was gonna be around anybody. It was whatever I was doing, and they was not a part of whatever it was I was doing because I wasn't being serious either. But we went out one night, got into it with my mama and her husband, and basically I got kicked out. I did tell you this story.
Yeah.
So I got kicked out, and that kind of pushed us together. Or Tony was being willing and generous enough for us to come to his place. And that's how my kids got involved with him being around. Because other than that, I'm not going to say we wouldn't have been together, but that pushed us in a situation. Only because Tony being nice, because other than that, he'll not been somewhere else.
No, I think at that point too, like one of our good friends, me and DeAndre good friends. Like I'm not finna say nobody's name, but anyway, me and DeAndre good friend, like we was kind of at a point where we was like, either you move or I move. You know what I mean? mean? So it was just like he wound up leaving and moving with him and his girlfriend, which was good. You know, was at that point. And then like I was basically both of us was paying rent. So being that he left, I was just like, well, you know, you was in your situation, so I was just like, well, you could just stay with me, you know, help me out. Because
so you were using me to help you.
No, I wasn't using you to help me. You was using me for shelter. So we was using each other. So, good thing, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, yeah, I was just like, you know, you can stay here and you can help me out. You know what I mean? So, and you know, I was working at, you know, this place called Convention Grill at the time, and I wasn't making, you know, a lot of money, but you know, I feel like you'll be help for me, I'll be help for you. So I just look at it like, you know, helping somebody else out. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about, really.
How long were you guys talking before like that moving point?
Man, not that long.
Well, no, and I don't even know if you could consider it talking in the beginning because we were clubbers. We was clubbers.
Yeah, but you know.
No, we weren't even really club girlfriend, boyfriend, because that's what I was about to say. But that wasn't it either. Tony had his little,
each other.
We did. Right. Tony had his little crew he was hanging with. It was me and my sister, and it was all intertwined in there. So we knew each other as in passing by and stuff. But as far as us, no, I don't know. When did we start talking? Probably like a couple of months before I moved in. Shit, it might have been a month. I don't know. It was quick.
But you know, I feel like, I don't know, because I feel like once you got to know me and I got to know you, we started to figure out like, you a Gemini, I'm a Gemini. You know, your birthday is a few days after mine. You know what I mean? So it was just like, we just started clicking, and sometimes when it click is genuine, you just kind of like, man.
That was the second go around. That wasn't the first one. Right. Because them clicking wasn't clicking at first.
No, because
they hung up.
Okay, we back on.
We back and clicking. Clicking how we was clicking.
Yeah. Technical difficulty.
But no, I think we were together about 2 months before I moved in, and then probably like a couple of months after that, I was pregnant, and I said, word for word, I was not gonna be anybody else's baby mama. I don't think he heard me. Until after his daughter was born.
No, I heard what you said. You know, so. But my only concern was, I know you was like, I wasn't ready. It wasn't that. It was just that, you know,
that ain't the vibe I was getting.
Because everything happened quick. Everything happened real quick. I'm surprised you probably had some. You never had no doubts. So like, I don't know.
My doubts came after the kids in the marriage, or the kid in the marriage. Cause woo, they say you had a 7-year itch. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Really?
Them itches was itching. The first couple of years was rough.
Yeah, it was. We still figuring out each other, learning each other. You know what I mean?
You right.
Yeah, because
then or now?
We know each other.
We didn't.
We kind of remember everything.
Not a thing.
You know, just jump right into it. You know, we playing house. House on the prairie.
Definitely not a little house on the prairie.
But when all that happened, though, you know, like, did it feel natural? Like, when you know, like, oh, come move in. Like, did it feel natural to you guys?
Yeah.
So you probably because you're so used to being helpful towards somebody, but for you, Sherry, did it feel natural? He was like, oh yeah, you come, you know.
Yeah. I don't know what the kids will say, but yeah.
Right.
I don't know what they'll say either.
Because
they have a choice.
Like, they could have stayed at their grandparents' house.
No, that wouldn't.
It was right. Me who had to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would have been cool there, but it wouldn't have been right.
Mm-hmm.
At all. Because it was rough. And then here we are 13 years later. Still married after finding each other at the club.
Right. Because I was hot back then. You know, whoever got a hold of me.
The ladies want you, huh?
Man, she know it.
Huh?
Do I?
Yeah. You don't know it?
No.
See, remember that one time?
What one time?
We was up in the club and some girl just came. She did how she felt.
Mm-hmm.
She came just.
Oh, she.
Yeah, see.
Oh, I forgot all about
Yeah,
that.
I
So
know.
while we had, we
wanted
were
me.
dancing. I don't know about the wanting and stuff,
Right.
but we were dancing. Next thing I know, this girl done came up and kissed this man in the mouth.
Wow.
He wasn't my man, but okay.
I'm just saying I was wanted. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't say you wasn't. No, I
I
didn't
was
say I
America's
didn't know
most
it, didn't I? No, you was Gabby's most wanted.
You know, hey.
Hey, you got it like that, man?
Yeah, you know. And I used to dance too, 'cause you know.
I don't even know if that had anything to do with it. Listen,
Yeah, I had a lot of
we had went to Benny Hanna's. It was right after I had Antonia. This dude over here, she was like, "Hey, Tone, that's your baby," and all of a sudden his voice changed and shit. And that's exactly how he did. He told me, I said, "Yeah." Hey, look, your voice changed, didn't it?
No, see my
Yeah,
voice,
it did.
my voice was normal. She
Your
just
voice
knew-
is never deep. It's
Nah.
that yeah.
Cause you know how when you
No.
see a person. Well, let me explain. Hold on.
Okay.
You know, you know how you see a person that used to like you, and you know you used to like them, and then you wind up with somebody else, and then when you see that person, she thought my voice changed.
No, it changed. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
It changed. It changed.
He was like, yeah, what's up, girl?
Yeah, that's it. You know, that's it.
No, that's not how he did it.
What?
It was yeah.
No,
What?
it was just like you know when you're on the phone and you talking to a girl and you know you trying to sound sexy. Was it like that?
It most definitely wasn't
Or
sexy.
was it like very white, like deep voice?
I don't know. You trying to impress her or something? Like I was after and just had your baby.
I had already had who I had. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that. I could have got that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I chose you. You know what I'm saying? Right out back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, you lucky, man.
Tell you.
You telling me I'm lucky?
You lucky, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nah, but we was meant to be. I'm gonna say that because sometimes this guy used to tell me like who like you. You know what I'm saying? So you know, they gotta know who he is.
That is true.
Yeah, like you. Because sometimes when you like somebody way more than they like you, sometimes it tends not to work out. You know what I mean? And then you be heartbroken. So you kind of gotta, you know. I mean, I ain't gonna say be. You could be picky on who you get, but you know, you gotta realize like that's gonna take a minute. You know what I mean?
One thing I did learn was know what you don't want.
Yeah.
Do not repeat what you don't want, because then you're back at settling.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew what I didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
I might not know what I want, but I know what I didn't want. And there was a whole list.
Yeah. That's smooth right there.
Yeah. And you probably don't learn that until you get back up into your 30s or something like that. Because by in your 20s, you still exploring and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But about 35, you know what you don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
In a relationship, in your ship, in life, like you know exactly what you don't want and what bothers and what triggers you. And right now, I think we all in the moment of peace. Like I want peace. Like I don't want any drama. Although we ain't never really had drama.
No.
It's just peace.
Yeah.
Nobody has time for that. Life too short. There's too many people dying. Know what you want or don't want. Figure the rest out.
So should that segue into our final section of ending off with something positive?
Yes. Let's end off with something positive. You got something to say, Tony?
Enjoy life. You only got one.
Be at peace with yourself.
I would say spend time with family because, you know, you start to realize that, you know, we're only getting older. Your family's only getting older. Spend that time with your family.
Right.
Not the ones that cause drama.
Right.
Because then you're no longer at peace. Be you. Always be you. And that's to wrap it up for Sit and Chat for the week.